Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1034, written by xCnuty. I was teleported by the winter goddess. One thing I've always done while driving is gauge where I am on landmarks and not signs. Just anything out of the ordinary I see, I'll know exactly how far I've gone and how long until I get there. Well, I live in Alaska, and I was driving to pick up my sister from the airport about an hour away around midnight in the middle of the winter. It's pitch black, and there's not many landmarks I base myself off of on this drive, but there is one in particular every winter next to an on-ramp. There is this single spruce tree that is lit up with Christmas lights. Every time you pass it, you notice it. There's no other lights, especially being in the middle of the winter. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Well, I pass this, and I make a mental note of it, knowing where I'm at, what time it is, and how long it'll take me to get to the airport. Well, I keep driving, and about 10 minutes later, I pass the tree again? Time has changed since the last mental note I took, but for some reason, I don't remember the last 10 minutes of driving, but I know I already passed this very specific tree. It shook me up so bad I had to pull over and collect myself. Still flucks me up to think about today. Case notes for file 1034. I was teleported by the winter goddess. Aliens, hell yeah. Winter aliens this time. Car all alone at night, desolate area. Prime hotspot for alien activity, and plenty of sightings and encounters reported in Alaska. Usually it does involve more than 10 minutes of missing or misplaced time. I think given the location and everything just going on in the environment, I think there's no real question that it was an alien anomaly. Yeah, maybe it was just some space-time warping. It's possible. Normally it goes forward, not backwards, but I'm gonna go with aliens just because it's more fun. Wait a second. I forgot Dave. He was right there. I took a sip of Dr. Pepper and I forgot to put him back on my head. It still does beg the question though. What are aliens after? Why do they care about some random person driving on a road in Alaska at night? We may never know, but I'll keep asking the question. Case file number 1035, written by rynsix. The universe went grocery shopping for me. I am the kind of person who keeps a list of everything they have in their fridge and freezer. I'm definitely more organized and meticulous than the average person. Everything in my kitchen has a place and a label. Last night, I remember as clear as anything, making myself some pasta. I added some frozen peas for vegetables. I remember that there was only a bit left in the bag afterwards, so on my grocery list in the fridge, I wrote that I needed to buy peas. Shortly afterwards, I went to bed. This morning, I woke up, opened the freezer, and there, in the exact place as my almost empty bag of peas, is a brand new, unopened bag of the same brand. I did not buy peas. By the time I ate dinner, the store was already closed. My freezer is small. I only buy one bag of vegetables at a time because there's just no space. I was so freaked out by this, I checked my carbon monoxide detector and rummaged through the past 2 months of grocery receipts to find that I have only bought one bag of peas in this time. I don't think someone would have broken in because 1, who does that, and 2, the alarm on my door would have gone off. I am so confused. Case notes are file 1035. The universe went grocery shopping for me. So imagine this isn't actually a glitch, and it's actually just the unlikely explanation at the end there. There's some random opposite of thief, General Santa Claus. So he comes in and breaks in just to, what? Test his ability to break into people's homes and then brings in peas with him? It doesn't make any sense. No one does that. If someone was going to break in and leave something behind, it would be as a threat. They used to do that all the time in the Soviet Union, to mess with people's minds and try to gaslight them, like rummage through someone's drawers for clothes and just leave a pair of underwear on their bed or something like that. Just to mess with them, like make you think, why are they doing that? What's the point? Did I do something wrong? I guess the universe is gaslighting you now, which probably is better than a tyrannical government agency. There's that silver lining. Case file number 1036, written by vardigr. To repeat. The place we lived at the time, a few years ago, was a house on a gravel dead-end road across from a church. The church had 2 drives because it had a circle drive that went under an overhang, but there was no drive behind or around the church, none. One way in, one way out, that gravel dead-end road. I was babysitting. The kids I nannied for and mine were all playing outside in the side yard. No one went around the back of the house because there was poison ivy, so we were always in the front or side, always in view of the road. The church's groundskeeper comes down the cross street, turns on the gravel, in a dark gray Honda, the same car he's driven for years. Smiles, nods, and waves. The church was good neighbors, nice guy. He drove slowly past, through the church's parking lot, to park in front of the garage beyond the church, which is also in view. I wasn't watching him, I was watching the kids, but I was facing the church, all this in my field of view. I was thinking to myself a few minutes later that he must be working on equipment inside today. He hadn't walked back through the parking lot to the church. Then I hear tires on gravel. Look up at the cross street again. Here comes the dark gray Honda. I stared at it confused. The church groundskeeper smiles, nods, and waves, just like normal, just like he did 10 minutes ago. I whip my head around, and there's no car in front of the church's garage. This car goes and parks there like normal. About a minute later, he strolls back along the parking lot, checking out the landscaping. I cannot state firmly enough that there is only one single way in and out of our goofy little enclave, and that was gravel, and it makes a sound I look up at every time I hear it, reflexively. It was not long enough for him to have come, left, done something, and returned. It was maybe 10 to 15 minutes at most, and he did not leave. I would have seen that, and if I wasn't looking, I would have heard it and looked. The guy came almost daily, same guy, same car, same smile and wave. He just showed up twice. Vardigr is my guess. Someone explained that concept when I shared this on Facebook, feeling like I'd gone crazy. Case notes for file 1036. To repeat. So as I understand it, vardigr is like a déjà vu but in reverse. So it happened, an entire pattern recognition that just recompiles itself, you could say. I think most likely it's just buffered reality. We're dealing with an event that was going to happen, and the universe knows that the information was stored there. For some reason, it played it ahead of time. And this would make sense if the buffered reality isn't like one continuous film, it's localized in different regional blocks. That way time anomalies can make more sense, because everything is in its own reference frame, and can be altered or replayed in this case. Really cool, but definitely disconcerting. And now time for the quote of the day. I can resist everything, besides temptation. Oscar Wilde. And this is what I say after I finish an entire box of a dozen donuts. I couldn't resist temptation. What can I say? I can just say that. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. See you soon.